Loads of new information has just leaked about this year's Need for Speed game, so let's take a look at what's been said. Just to be clear, this is all leaked information, none of it is officially confirmed by EA. So this leak comes from a post over on Reddit, and it is also from the same user that leaked information around 8 days ago covering gameplay details. In this new post, it's basically adding to the original one with a couple of brand new screenshots. Many of us have seen the leaked gameplay back in 2020, so of course it's been improved upon since then, and the first image included in the post is what the game will apparently look like. Although this is likely an early build of Need for Speed, we can see that the car models are definitely going with the more photorealistic approach that the game will feature. By the looks of it, the car is on some kind of ramp or danger jump, as there are eagle wings either side of it, also bringing in the kind of cartoon effects. In the other image, I don't really know what to say about it in all honesty. The user said that it's not a crash cam, which I thought it was at first, but the screen is all red and like kind of glitched, like you have crashed. So yeah, I have no idea. The dial on the right has also changed very slightly, and the car will still have a health bar if you look very close in the image. And then on the left, we can see the map with similar icons that we use in Need for Speed Heat for jumps and drift stunts, but there also looks to be some kind of car meet icon as well. Up next is the car culture and the gameplay. There's apparently no drag racing within the game, which kind of sucks as it was introduced in 2015 as so many people wanted it, to then get ruined in Payback, to then completely binned off in Need for Speed Heat, and apparently not returning. There are also no drift events, which is a massive L if so. One of the core features about Need for Speed games completely removed, makes absolutely no sense to me. Yeah, we have the drift stunts that you can find around the city on Heat and then within this game, but apparently there's going to be no main events, which is just stupid. Hopefully this isn't the case, but if so, they definitely need to change their mind about this one. Speedcross also makes a return, which is some good news. It's a really awesome feature in Need for Speed Payback and should play very similar, if anything, within this game. The upgrade system has also had a few adjustments and is very similar to what we see in Forza. So you'll now have lettered class cars for the performance rating, which will also still include the number. So say for instance, if your car is A class, it may have a PI rating of 700, and then if it goes up to, for instance, S-Class, it might have a 800 rating. Next up is car meets. Yep, I mentioned that before, but I didn't want to say anything about it to spoil it. But a huge request within the Need for Speed franchise is finally coming with this next game. What we know so far is that it's set in a car parking lot, as you'd expect. You can also scroll through your different cars you have in your garage to show them off, kind of similar to what we had in Horizon 2. You can also bet on other drivers as well as participating in an event yourself. If you do participate, the harder the driver is you're up against will mean that you'll earn more money from the race. Moving on, there is a couple of bits in regards to the story mode. Obviously, it's going to feature a story, but apparently this game's story mode will feel very similar to what we had in Need for Speed Heat, with diversity now being a big part of not only this one and future Need for Speed titles. This next game will also have a strong female and cultural representation within the storyline. The other thing mentioned is that a intro cutscene is expected with a BMW doing donuts with no doors. Very strange that it has no doors. I don't entirely know if that is going to be the case or if it was maybe a early render of the cutscene. I feel like that probably is the case, but I'm sure they'll make it work however they do. And it will also have Latin music in both the cutscene and more than likely the rest of the game. Now this next point is actually a big one that I mentioned in my Need for Speed 2022 video recently, and that is the continued support. In the post, it stated that there will be a maximum of 12 months of new post content added to the game, and after that, we'll see no more. This also depends on the sales and reviews of the game itself. So if it stinks, we'll maybe get 6 months of content, and even then, it's still more than what we had with Need for Speed Heat back in 2019, with what, like 2 content updates, I think. And then lastly, let's look at some additional bits of info to finish the post. It said that less than half of the devs working on the game are ex-Ghost or old Criterion employees from years ago. The rest of the team are all fresh eyes on the franchise, which to me is kind of worrying. This is mainly if they are fresh and not worked on a racing game in the past before this one. Need for Speed, of course, is all about racing, customization, and so on. If this is the first one they're working on, or they're not really into the car scene, it could go either way, in my opinion. We'll either have a great game or it will completely flop. Apparently the goal with this Need for Speed game is to bring in more of the younger audience who haven't played a Need for Speed game before, making this one a somewhat reboot of the franchise. They also expect long-term fans of the series to buy it, which to be honest, we probably all will because we like Need for Speed. So we'll pick it up and see what it's like. I don't know why this point was included in here, but there's going to be a moving train within the map. Again, probably going to be very similar to what we have in the Horizon games. And then lastly, the game will in fact release this year no matter what. And this is another point I'm pretty fearful of. The game is either in a ready and polished state to be released, or there are still some flaws, but it's been delayed too long, so they're going to release it anyway. If you take a look at Saints Row, for example, that was released on Tuesday, and from what I've played of it definitely was not ready. I just don't want them to release this Need for Speed unfinished. I'd rather them delay the game until 2023 if we're going to get a fully polished and decent game. Also, adding to that point, Jeff Grubb, who I mentioned in yesterday's video, stated that the game has been delayed by about a month. Well, today he said this on stream.
So Need for Speed, and I remember saying at the time, yeah, the plan is November. Well, they delayed it to December, 1 month, and they are going to take a few extra weeks before showing it off. The problem here is like hard to like pinpoint from my side of things. It seems to be that maybe Criterion just got sidetracked a little bit way back when it was working on Battlefield, and that's like just had a ripple effect and caused this delay, but also everything's getting delayed, right?
So this year's Need for Speed will release in December instead of November, and we can also expect a trailer or some kind of announcement from EA around mid-September. That's all of the potential leaks covered about this year's Need for Speed game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to subscribe as I'll be covering more on this game very soon.